cinema, where your weekends come to life.
Screenzilla's going viral, and so are his tickets. Join our maritime tour for a double feature that's bursting with laughter and generosity, featuring films, bouncy castles, and big checks for the IWK. Secure your spot starting April 19th. It's blockbuster charity at its best.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Frankie Corcoran. We're here today with a Insiders podcast for our latest theatrical production, Love, Loss, and What I Wore. What's that show, you may ask? Well, I mean, I promote it on I promote it on every episode of the podcast this month. Actually, probably last couple months. Anyway, it's crazy that it's already done now. For now. Special announcement coming later. I won't spoil anything. But anyways, enough about that. So first off, I just want to say before we get started with the podcast itself or the interviews, I just want to say thank you to every single person who came out and supported the show, came out to see the show, all the kind words. We're getting lots and lots of good reviews for this show, and we couldn't be more proud of it. A lot of hard work went into it, blood, sweat, and tears, and to top it all off, to make things even better, this is just the cherry on top, we raised $5,500 for mental health and addictions Miramichi. And no, that was not a typo. That was how much money we raised. Unbelievable. Thank you guys so much, like really from the bottom of all our hearts here, like the cast and crew. We really couldn't have done it without you guys. So, yeah. It was a fantastic evening. I'm actually still buzzing about it. It was on Saturday night. I'm recording this on Monday. The dust has settled now, but there's also still, I think every theater person gets this, where it's the post-play blues, we like to call them, where we're like, crap, like we worked so hard to do the show. It's almost like a wedding. Or like just some big event where there's all this build up to it, all this work that goes into it, and then once it's done, it's done. But it's not quite done yet. I keep teasing things. What am I talking about? Yeah, just listen to the whole podcast. You'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not going to tease anything anymore. You guys are probably just thinking, Frankie, just spit it out for fuck's sakes. No, don't worry. We will announce it later. But just before we dive into it, I just want to talk, just my experience with this show. So Love, Loss, and What I Wore, of course, written by Nora and Delia Ephron. It was a production that Veronique Arsenault, who was our producer and our star, one of our stars, she had seen it years ago with, of course, starring Judy Losier, who was part of the cast. She was unable to join the podcast today, unfortunately. But so Veronique saw the show. It was, I think, 2007, 2008, like years ago, directed by the late, great Lloyd Cameron, who we also directed this production to at the very end. And so she brought it to my attention in September, this past September 2023, and just said we were thinking about doing some sort of fundraiser for Mental Health Awareness Month in May. Would you be interested in helping us direct this production? And I was on board immediately, because you guys all know, for those of you guys who know me, know how much of an advocate I am for mental health and encouraging people to get the help they need. And it's just such a problem here, not just here, but everywhere, really. So we really wanted to do something that would help with it, like something that would help get the word out about the struggles that people go through, because the stories that happen in this play, some of them are funny. Like, there are lots of funny moments. For those of you guys who saw the show, them. But then there's also some that are very real, and that was also one of the things that I loved about this, that it also really opened your eyes. And when you really see it and read how they go through it, you're like, holy shit, yes, that's real. Like that, I've gone through that before. That's one of the best things about plays like this, is when they're real and they can tug at all the right heartstrings, And so, and then me coming on as a director too, you want to make sure that you capture all of that. You want to make sure that, the acting is a huge part of it. Really, the acting is, like, you guys see all that, and then as a director, I really wanted to make sure how do we do this? How do we do that? How do we stage that? And it's so funny because there were so many different ways that I was going about it. At one point, I had too much set on there. I had, let's put all these walls up because I'm so used to doing shows with all that. And eventually I'm like, that's just too much for such a simple premise. As long as the message gets out, that's really the main thing, So, that we're not making Oklahoma. We're not making some big musical or show. We're not making To Kill a Mockingbird with big sets and stuff like that. I mean, we're telling stories here. And so we don't really need to go all out with sets and stuff and lighting and everything. But I was very, very pleased with how it turned out. And that's just really the main thing as a director that you want to do. You want to make sure, how is this going to look? How is it going to turn out in the end? And that, let the message get across. And I really do think we achieved that. And I was just very, very grateful. So the cast, of course, we had Veronique Arsenault, Judy Losier, Rachel Bernard, Samantha Murphy, and Cara Scott. 5 fantastic actresses. We, of course, had Patty Quinn was our master of ceremonies. Roger Arsenault, Veronique's father, was our stage manager. We had Brian Siddle do our lights and sound. And just overall, we had a great team. We had a great crew helping us out here. Akwasi, shout out to you, man, if you're listening to this. He, of course, sang during our intermission. Fantastic job by him. And it's great to see him chasing his dreams, chase for the stars, man. What else? I don't think there. It's like an award show. You're trying to think like, holy shit, I have like 5 minutes. Who am I gonna? I have to thank all these people, but I'm like, wait, it's a podcast. I'm not under any time constraints. Cynthia Adams for helping out with the tickets at the door. Kaylee and Heather McLean for helping out with the 50/50. Lisa Mitchell, Townhill Jewelry. Just, oh my God, there's so many people to thank. Holy shit. Just everyone, you know who you are. You guys know who you are, and we appreciate you so much beyond words, and your hard work has not gone unnoticed. And what a show. What a show. That's all I'm going to say. But let's talk about it now. I have 3 of the 5 actresses on the show today. We are, of course, missing Judy Losier and Cara Scott, who are unable to appear, but shout out to them if you're listening to this. We don't talk bad about you guys, don't worry. Cara actually said that. She said, you guys better not be talking about me, bad about me. Actually, here, I'm going to read the exact message. Cara, if you're listening to this, I'm going to read the exact message that you, let me see. Let me just pull it out here. Hi, kids. Not going to be able to join you. Sorry. Don't talk behind my back because I will listen to the podcast. That's what she said. Love you, Cara. And love you too, Judy. I love you as well too. We're sorry we weren't able to have you on. We had Veronique Arsenault, Rachel Bernard, and Samantha Murphy on. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to shut up and just roll the interview. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our Insiders podcast. Everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. Very special edition today. We have our Insiders podcast on our latest theatrical endeavor, Love, Loss, and What I Wore, written by Nora and Delia Ephron and staged by us. And who's us, you ask? Well, I have 3 out of the 5 actresses. 2 of them had previous engagements. That's, of course, Judy Losier and Cara Scott. Shout out to you guys if you guys are listening to this right now. We were going to talk bad about you, but we're not going to now. I think we'll be nice. But no, God love you guys, Judy Losier and Cara Scott. They're the best. Sorry they couldn't be here, but let's be happy because we still have 3 of the cast members. First off, to my right or left, I have Rachel Bernard. Hi Rachel.
Hi.
Right below her, I have Samantha Murphy.
Hi.
And right below her, or no, beside her, below me, which I don't know why I'm doing that because you guys can just hear this anyway. It doesn't matter. Veronique Arsenault. She's also the producer, star, and also the one
Instigator.
instigator. Exactly. She's the reason we're all talking right now. Veronique Arsenault. Veronique, how are you?
I'm great, Frankie. So glad to be here, and hard to believe it's over,
It
but
is.
yeah, so it was amazing. It was amazing. That's all I can say.
Who said it's over? I thought we were practicing tonight. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, yeah. We got our schedule for the week. Yeah, it's hard to believe, it's hard to believe that where we started from, a few months ago, and how it all came together and what we were able to do on Saturday night, and how it all looked. Yeah, it was better than I ever could have imagined.
Mm,
Well,
it
it's so
was.
funny because when you think about it, and we're planning the whole thing, and we're just thinking, how is it going to turn out? And then also, it wasn't just that; it was also we had the idea, and it's like, oh, it's never going to get here. Like it's like that's in May, like we were talking about doing this in September, and now here we are. It's over for now. Wink, wink. But Veronique, as I said, you were basically the driving force behind this whole thing, and we all appreciate everything that you. I mean, like just bringing the idea to us. So what? I mean, like I know the answer to all this, but the viewers might not know what the answer to this is. But how did you get the idea to want us to do this play for May mental health awareness month?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know quite why I settled on doing a play, to be honest with you. Because I have the memory of a gerbil. I've said that often. I really struggle with remembering lines and things like that. Not that I've done this a lot, but Rachel and I did another production years ago because I wanted to try something new. And really, I had downloaded an app to try and help me run lines and everything, and really just struggled with memory and memorization. But I don't know, I knew I wanted to do something for Mental Health Awareness Month. And I knew that I wanted it to be different. Um, there are so many amazing organizations out there across our city and our region that are raising money. And, there's online auctions, and there's walks, and there's hoot nannies, and there's all sorts of things that happen every day here in the community. And it's incredible to see time after time after time, we see businesses donate and all that kind of good stuff. And so I knew I wanted to do something different. And I had seen this production years ago, and had seen Judy in it. Lloyd Cameron had directed, and I knew that the main piece of it was that they got to have their scripts in front of them. And I was like, that's right up my alley. Like I can do that, right? And I also wanted to make it because I knew that Samantha Murphy and Cara Scott were both new to the stage in that capacity. And also that, all of these ladies in my life, and you as well, Frankie, are so involved in so many things that I wanted to make it as painless, we'll say, as possible, so that, you know, the time that we were going to dedicate to getting ready for the event and everything wouldn't be as extensive as it would be if it was like a full-on action production play kind of idea. And even for myself, I wasn't sure how I'd feel getting up on stage and acting in an actual production, given, everything that's going on in my life. So I thought, well, this is something that I know we can do. Each one of these ladies is a phenomenal MC and speaker and involved community member. So I knew that they could do that without, with some guidance and things like that. And I wanted an opportunity to really showcase how wonderful they are. And I thought that this would be a unique idea. And then I was fascinated with all of the work that you had done, Frankie, in the community and with community theater and your passion for it. And also the fact that, you were a mental health advocate as well. So I thought, yeah, let's do something a little different, and let's put on a play. And I was very convinced that there would be my dad, my uncle, probably Jason and Cliff and Shane in the audience, and that was about it.
Our husbands, and that's it.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that was, and maybe your mom, Frankie, but I wasn't convinced. Right? So,
She was on the fence about going.
and I get it. I understand. So was Dad, right? And that was the piece I was most nervous about, to be honest with you, was not actually getting up on stage, because I can get up and talk in front of 1,000 people and have done it, and not faze me. But I was really worried that people wouldn't come, and if they did come, that they wouldn't like it.
I wasn't worried about them not liking it. What I was thinking about was them not understanding what it is that we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
That was more that I knew we were going to have people there, but I was just not worried, but wondering what they were thinking, because it's not a regular play.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, because because I know there's some people who didn't see it, but they saw the pictures and they're like, so it was a musical? It was, what was it? Because they saw the stands and the chairs. I'm like, no, it wasn't a musical. Right. It was basically just a series of monologues and stories with, several different women played by 5 actresses. And that's such a unique idea for a play right there, right off the bat, because you're so used to, beginning, middle, end, the introduction, the climax, and then the, like basic, like a movie, basically. But this was completely different, where there wasn't really any climax. There wasn't any rising tension. It was kind of just a nice roller coaster of emotions. One second, we start off very happy, and then something very, very serious happens, and the next second Judy says she has nothing to wear, and everyone laughs
for 5 minutes straight.
Oh my goodness.
Never crossed my mind.
That never
crossed my mind that somebody would
me
laugh at
either. But that was the most perfectly delivered line by the most perfectly, person to deliver it. And funny enough, none of us clued into that when we were rehearsing. I would love to say that we planned it, but
it was all the same reaction. Like, we reacted with the audience, and we were all the same way. And God love the lady in the audience, or the person in the audience with that laugh.
Oh,
she had the best laugh.
Pure.
Let's just get that off the table now. You warmed our hearts with that laugh.
She did.
And we would you should come to every one of our shows, because the confidence that you gave us during our performance was great.
I totally agree.
People told me after that they were laughing because she was laughing.
My son Nick was like, the lady that was laughing was sitting near us. He loved it.
She was the best. And you're right. Like, I got such energy from hearing her enjoyment, and she was my favorite, and I really hope she comes to anything else.
And we have to say, there were 300 people there. Like, I mean, we're not mentioning that. We were there, we saw it, but that one laughter, anyway, it was the best. It's
just, and then that fuels you. That just gives you so much.
Yes.
And then also, if you hear them crying too, I heard there were a few tears out there. I don't know. Nobody will admit. Gregor said, yeah, someone was crying out there. This is Cara's son, of course, for you guys. Cara's son said, yeah, somebody was crying there. I said, Gregor, it was you, wasn't it? It had to have been.
You know what? I spoke to a few people out and about today and over the weekend, and I heard that from different people, that they laughed, they cried, they felt it all, which is such a wonderful feeling, I think, for us, right? Like, to know that we were able to generate that.
Yeah, we kept them drawn in.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's the thing. Well, especially when it's not a play like a musical where there's all these flashing lights and song numbers and stuff that just keeps you sucked in for the whole show. You're like, I don't want to even get up to go to the bathroom because I'm going to miss something. And so that was one thing that I was kind of curious about, is because I'm like, okay, this isn't like that. This is just people talking. I mean, they're putting emotion into it. They're doing everything they can with it. I'm like, are people gonna sit through it? I mean, like, you have some of these thoughts, and like Veronique was even saying too. I mean, like, are people gonna like this? Is this a good idea, kind of thing? But then once we hear people saying like that was fantastic, that really just gets you so worked up and really drives you. It really, really does. But and
Yeah.
Sam, this was not just your best performance, it was also your first performance,
So by far
which
my best.
yeah, you'll work on it. No,
Oh, she did so good.
no, it was fantastic. And there's some people who say, my gosh, she was really, really good. And then they might be surprised to find out, yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, this was Sam's first theatrical performance. I mean, she's emceed many things before in the past, but this was the first time you ever did a play. So what was it about this one in particular that really drew you to it? Or was it just Veronique saying,
She
we're
didn't
doing
have a
this?
choice.
No choice. Like, I don't think you understand. Once you're in a girl gang, if you say no to one thing, then the rest of the gang doesn't do it. So you can't be that
Yeah.
person that says no. It's just like when they told us that they wanted us to walk around to the edge walk in at the CN Tower. I couldn't say no because everybody else, Cara, unfortunately Rachel wasn't there then. So that's when I first met Veronique or Cara, and we had to walk around the CN Tower.
God.
And I didn't even. So what I tend to do is say yes before I know what we're doing.
It's like that 5K foam fun run that we
The
did.
5K foam run that
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah.
Anything with exercise that we did. Clearly, I don't know what we're doing if I'm saying yes. But with this one, I said yes. I don't even really remember her asking. I just remember I do
She
remember
didn't ask.
saying yes.
She didn't ask.
I did. I put it in our group chat.
It wasn't an ask. There was not a question mark
She
at the
put
end.
it in the group chat so that Cara could
We-
answer in the middle of the night while on sleep medication.
True enough.
We are doing a play in May, is what she said.
So when it came time for
Right?
rehearsal, I was like, she's serious? Like,
What are we doing this?
we're really doing this? And then the first night when I still couldn't even believe that we were still doing it, when like the first night we were doing our first read through, I was like, what? Like, so okay, I guess I'm gonna do this. And thankfully I didn't have even the one line I tried to memorize, I couldn't memorize it. Right, when I was marrying Rachel.
You did
But-
beautifully. My little
But-
eggplant.
It was so much fun that maybe we'll do it again someday.
Maybe we're dropping hints throughout here, guys, that maybe something's. We're doing the sequel. We're working on it right now. It's
But before we move on, I will say one of the best compliments that I had received was that the 2 hours just flew by.
Oh,
yeah.
They were so entertained that they couldn't believe that it was over when it was over. They were hooked. They were glued.
I'm glad you said that, because my 87-year-old mother has been driving down wherever I was going to be on stage for the last 20 some years. And I was afraid, because I told her, I said, Mom, there are no walls. There's no sofa. There's no closet. There's no door. It's not the same type of play you've seen me jump on tables and things like that. I said, you're not going to see any of it. Okay, no, I get it. I get it. And I talked to her again this morning, and she said, Rachel, she said, it was like that nonstop. She said, it just went like that. She said, it was just amazing. So
That's
yeah, for her to be used to seeing the typical play, I really thought she was going to say, oh, what is she doing? But she said the same thing. It was just like the whole time. It was great.
It was literally just like a tennis match.
Yeah,
what it was.
And we
Right,
don't
the
see that,
people-
right?
yeah.
We couldn't see that.
It'd be nice to watch it from a different angle,
Yeah.
like to see it, because I'm just praying that people understood what we were trying to lay down. Like I
That's
was
true.
hoping that they
Yeah.
would understand. And I really liked how Veronique last minute with the scenes.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, that
The
helped.
back, the pictures in the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I think, and I tried to, in Patty's, so Patty Quinn, of course, was our MC, right? And, typically you wouldn't have an MC at a play either, but I wanted there to, like, even in his notes, I wanted him to try and give a bit of context, right? Before we started, that, it was a collection of stories that would make you cry and would make you, laugh and make you relate, but also spark a bit of conversation, you know. And it's interesting, like I've heard from a few people that like when they went home, they talked about it, you know, that they remembered that time that they had that, or they remembered that time when that, you know, they heard a story that was similar. And that was really very unexpected.
But that's
bonus.
what we did. That's what we did. Every time we rehearsed,
you're right.
Every time we rehearsed, we'd stop and go, I remember when, and then it made us talk, because really our rehearsals should have been maybe an hour and a half, but sometimes it was 3 hours because we kind of related to the stories we were reading.
And I think it really opened Frankie's eyes a little bit too.
Oh my gosh.
Poor Frankie.
Because
That's how we said, poor Frankie.
We talked about some serious things during rehearsal that Frankie was not ready to hear.
Well, when we first
not ready,
when we first did the bra scene, when you guys are talking about my first bra, or whatever, we then went into this big 20-minute talk about, you guys were each talking about your bras and stuff like that, and I was like, I don't have a story, guys. I don't know.
I don't know how to answer this.
What do I do here? And then
got holes in his socks instead.
I had
poor Frankie in a hole in his socks.
Oh my god. Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know that story, so it was actually one of our last rehearsals. I was on Veronique's couch and my feet was kicked up, and so Veronique was kind of going through like, okay, so here's, you know, so-and-so is going to be there. We have, of course, mental health and addictions. Miramichi is going to have a booth set up. We have Alzheimer's is going to have a booth set up. And then Sam raises her hand and says, are we going to have a booth accepting sock donations for Frankie? And I look down and there's the biggest hole in my sock.
It was my favorite.
So for a little end of the show present, they got me socks and a picture and
That'll
chocolate.
be your lucky socks now.
That's my lucky socks, exactly. Yeah. They're in the garbage as we speak. The poor Sam was like, should I have said that?
So funny. That was
absolutely.
So oh, yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I'm happy I did.
Tough luck.
But you know, and we joked about this a lot, but you know, I have to give it to Frankie because, like, so any one of us are old enough to be at the very least his mother, right? And here he was, day after day after day, dealing with 5 women who are very used to being in control of their lives and everything in their lives, including their work. And like each one of us, you know, is
you can say it. It's okay. You can say it. It's a podcast. I don't have to bleep this out.
Stubborn women.
We're very used to being in charge, right? So most of us have either been managers or, you know, led big events or big, you know, work units or whatever it may be, right?
So we're single women in powerful positions and just are used to taking charge without
very much so. And poor Frankie, and I, you know, that's just become his handle now. Poor Frankie had to deal with that rehearsal after rehearsal after rehearsal as the director who has the experience and, you know, had a vision of all this. So, you know, I have to give it to you, Frankie, because one, you were very diplomatic with us at times when I'm sure it wasn't all that easy. And 2, really, really got the best out of us in this production. You know, your notes and your guidance and your thoughts on all of this. Really, I can't imagine having done this with anybody else but you. So thankful for that. But really, kudos to you. For putting up with us.
And it wasn't just rehearsal, it was the group chat, like in the group chat. Like, I mean, it was every day. There's something every day.
There's always something going on in the group chat, like, oh my god, guys, I did this today, and I'm just like, some might be something very personal. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm just gonna so practice, guys, when's our next rehearsal? Like, you know,
I'm gonna mute this. Conversation.
I thought about muting it, but then I'm like, no, if I mute it and then they have something important to tell me, like, hey,
something important,
like, hey, Sam doesn't want to do the show anymore, and I don't know. I show up to practice. I'm like, where's Sam? Oh, she quit. You didn't read the group chat? Oh, shit. No, I muted it, so I couldn't do it for that reason. But no, like,
allowed to quit.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to quit. Yes, that's right. You were locked into a contract that you didn't even know existed,
Yeah.
as you all were. But I hope it was worth it in the end.
Yes.
Rachel, you're certainly no stranger though to theater because I mean, you and I first met. I think it was how many years ago we were talking about what could we do to get some
2020.
more theater going on here in the city,
Yeah.
and we were talking about it. It was probably around the same time I started doing all this,
Mhm.
and so you kind of had a break from theater because, of course, the last time you really did a big play was 2019, correct?
Yeah, it's been a
And
while.
then so lots have changed between we had the pandemic, and then you now have two wonderful grandchildren. And so what's it like? You know, we go through, you know, a global pandemic. Now you have grandkids and everything. What's it like being back on stage after all these changes in your life?
I realized how much I missed it. I really, really, really I missed being on stage. And I have to go back in school when my daughter was in school, and even after she left, I was directing and producing plays for the high school students, also the French Carrefour Beau Soleil. So I missed that aspect of it also. So not just being on stage, but just everything all around it. Well, first of all, we were meeting at 5 o'clock Saturday. Everybody was supposed to be there at 5. I was there at 3 because I just couldn't. I just wanted, to me, that was my second home. Like, I just love being on stage or love being around a theater. So it felt really, really good. I'd say, you know, my grandson was born in 2021, so he's the oldest. He's 3 years old now, and he was born with complications. So for me, that's all I concentrated on for 3 years. Now things are stabilized, and you know, my daughter's doing well, and she has a daughter also now. And I thought it was just perfect timing for Vera to tell us that we were doing this because it was just, I didn't know that I needed this. I guess that's what I'm saying. I didn't realize that I needed this. I needed to get back to what I used to love and what I've always loved. So it has been it was just so much fun. I just loved it so much. And I want to add, because I just want to go back a little bit. We were talking about, you know, productions and plays and stuff like that. Normally, when you hear people laugh or people cry, it comes with music, it comes with movement, we had none of that. We were sitting on chairs. It was all
tone of our voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is very difficult to do, because a sad scene, that's easy to do when you put that beautiful, soft, sad music. People will already have the emotions going. Same thing with when you laugh, it's got to be physical. You're moving, you're falling, and it's funny, you know, something like that. We had none of that. We sat in our chairs and never moved. So we have to think about that. I mean, Frankie, you understand that, because it's always like, 2 seconds before the funny music comes on or the sad music. We had none of that.
No, exactly. I had Benny Hill booked in there. I was going to throw in a little like chase scene or something, but I was like, nah, that doesn't fit the tone of this play at all. So maybe I better skip it. But you're right though. That's exactly, because even not just plays, but you'll watch movies or TV shows where they rely too much on the music and the close-ups of that. Sometimes you don't even need that. Sometimes it's just, if you have good actors and a good script, that's all you need. You don't, you know, like the music will speak for itself kind of thing. I mean, like there won't be any music, you know what I mean? Like just the performances is everything you need. And that's really something that you guys absolutely nailed. Veronique,
direction, by the way, with your
direction. Yes. You know, I don't have long enough hair. I can't fluff my hair back through that little.
But that's true. No, we don't see, you know, people don't see what goes on behind, you know, before everything happens, but it has a lot to do with direction and producing and things like that. So it's all 6 of us. It's not just, you know, who was sitting on the chairs.
And 7, if you can, or well, 8, you know, Brian Siddle, shout out Brian, Patty
100%.
Quinn. Yeah. Thank God, Brian, if you're listening to this. I mean, I see those the first time I looked into the tech booth at James M. Hill, I said, holy shit.
Right.
I was like, holy shit. I've worked with tech stuff, but I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, whoa, how is this going to work? And then Brian just, no, this here. And then just slid right into it. And we couldn't have done it without you, Brian. And with all the lighting and everything, fantastic. And as we said, with, you know, producing, writing, Vero, our producer, and also actress, star of the show. I'll start with you and go through each of them. Is there a scene in the show that was your favorite, or one that stood out to you the best? What are you the most proud of with regards to this whole show, or like which scene was probably the best for you?
I think the one I had the most fun with myself was the fat thin scene where I got to do my southern accent. For those of you out there that don't know, southern is the only accent I can do. I cannot do any others.
Not as good as Rachel's.
Mary.
Yeah. So that was probably the most fun for me to do, although the subject matter, near and dear to my heart, because I've been up and down like most people, I think, in weight. So probably although expressed it in some different ways, probably most near and dear to my heart. But getting to be Gingy throughout, and telling, I guess, Gingy's story throughout the evening was really great for me. It was unexpected. I, hadn't planned on being Gingy. It just so happened to have red hair, so it worked out. But
I thought about dyeing Judy's hair red, like bright red.
right,
And I was like,
should.
yeah, we could have. I said, well, no, this feels more natural.
So, but getting to tell her story was really interesting for me, and it was based on, that was the whole book. Love, Loss, and What I Wore is based on the story of Eileen Beckerman and her life. And Al Beckerman, when she married Al, was so sweet. But
Correct.
so
Not sweet enough, obviously.
obviously not, since she had 4, 5, or 12 husbands. But getting to tell her story from the time she was young until the end, where her book was published, really just was incredibly moving for me, because so much of it related to me getting to be there on stage with my closest girlfriends, and getting to do something unique and memorable. And that's what my last number of years since 2018 has been all about. My life is dedicated to having amazing memories with the people that I love, and challenging myself in a lot of ways to do things that are out of my comfort zone. That definitely was one of them. But really having the opportunity to make memories with people, because that's what I hold on to. And so to get to tell a story like Gingy's, and that last visual that I put up, originally the scene was just called Scene 28, but I was trying to figure out how to end that. And one of the lines is, they were acknowledged, and it was so important for Gingy that the book be published, because it acknowledged her mother and her best friends and all of that. And that was the slide that I put up. Was it spoke to not only Gingy's story, but all of the women that contributed to that play, and their stories and the things that they lived through and went through. And so for me, that kind of summed it up, is that those women and those stories were acknowledged, just like the rest of the women that we all know, and the women that we are. So that was a really long-winded answer to say that,
No,
the southern part was my favorite and most fun, but getting to tell Gingy's story touched my heart.
Absolutely. Hit so near and dear too. And this was really, in essence, your story too. You know what I mean? Like this, this story was, I mean, of course we had multiple women in the story, but at its core, it was really all about Gingy. So it was really, in that way, you kind of had, you were kind of like the protagonist in a way. And so you kind of took control of it, really. And then everyone else was equally as important, but really at its core, it was
Part of the story.
Truly Gingy. Yeah. So Sam, how about you? Is there a favorite scene of yours? Is there a least favorite scene? Is there one that you'd rather forget? What do you think?
The funniest one there were so many, because when Rachel yelled out Mary, but we never knew what she was going to say beforehand, because in rehearsal she always said something crazy, and I near died on stage when she yelled it out. But
Butter my
cannot-
butt and call me biscuit.
We went
Okay.
through Reddit for like 30 minutes trying to find something before you guys came on Saturday night, and we landed on that.
That's
But
perfect.
hearing Judy when she says, when he's 5 minutes late, she's like, automobile accident.
I know.
Yes.
I cannot stop her because I don't know about you guys, but I think
Yeah.
that possibly we have been there a time in our lives with significant others sometimes. Not Jason. No, but
No.
it's just the way
The look in your eyes, you're like, no. Like, I was like, what is that? Like, I don't know. That just seems.
Put it into context, though. It's the
Yeah.
part where Judy talks about how fantasizing about ways of getting rid of her husband. It's not Judy, it's the character.
character.
Played.
Judy's fantasizing how to get rid of
Really
Gerard.
funny,
Yeah.
which is really funny.
So, but that's what keeps replaying in my head. It just cracks me right up. But
Yep.
for my favorite scenes were the clothesline scenes when we were all interacting with each other for the most part on stage. I felt like we really were able to vibe off each other.
Yeah.
Really were like, and then it's even stuff that anybody can relate to, like those clothesline scenes, especially the dressing room when does this make me look fat? Believe it or not, men go through it all the time. Like there's men who will say, I don't care how I look. I'm like, no, they're like, everybody will go through that at some point. And so that's one of the best parts about the play too, is that even if it's an issue that is addressed by women in the play, in some way we've all been affected by it in some way. And then also, I mean, in death, we're all affected by death in some way. And everyone, well, I mean, even of course now, of course, Cara, who's not here, she was unable to appear. She had the big scene at the very end, which was, of course, the breast cancer scene, which some people, I'm not sure, probably a good percentage of the audience knows, was factual. This is something that she was going through. She had a mastectomy back in, what was it, around the first time, around our first read through. Which it was like literally a week later, she's just back to rehearsal. Like, okay, guys, so where's the script? Like when do we get started? And it was just fantastic. Just seeing her do that scene as well too, knowing that it was also not just, she wasn't just reading a script, she was in the moment, and that was truly fantastic. And people are affected by that in some way too.
And she
Breast
had no
cancer.
problem doing it.
Exactly. No trouble doing it. And even said to her, you don't got to do it. No, she said she wanted to do it. And it was just absolutely fantastic. And we've all been affected by any type of cancer in some way, like whether it's, ourselves or the people we love, you know what I mean? Like it's just crazy. So it touched us all in some way. Rachel, how about you? That was a long tangent. I'm sorry. But Rachel, how about you? Is there any scene that stood out for you?
So out of, I think seven women that I was lucky enough to represent on stage, I think my favorite scene is the one that I do with Sam. I think that was my favorite one, where I play Lisa and she plays Amanda. And I didn't realize that people didn't know that these two characters were actually a couple, because the way we were reading it, I guess some people didn't click to it until the very end when we actually say our vows. And I thought that was pretty special. But I think my funniest one, and I know everybody's going to know what I'm going to say, Lynn, the senator, the state senator with the husband that was in jail. I think that was my favorite scene because I knew it made my friends cringe on stage.
And it did.
I loved it, like just doing, the hand, everything, because I knew it was making my friends next to me cringe. I loved every second of it. Loved it.
Every time she read that scene,
You just
we
went,
all.
I think that's my favorite of me. I mean, all the girls had such wonderful characters, but I think for me, what I did, I think those were my two that stand.
That was absolutely fantastic. Oh, so good. Oh my God. Well, it was also the audience reactions too is also what made that even better, because I even said that too. I'm like, okay, we timed the show, it's about an hour and 20 minutes, but with the laughter and stuff it's probably gonna be longer, and it was much longer. I was going through our footage and stuff like that. It was well over an hour and 28 minutes. So but no, that one there was absolutely fantastic, and all of them, like, it's so hard. It's like picking a favorite child. Like, you're like, which one do I pick? They're so
Right?
they're
Yeah.
so funny. Sam's like, I have a favorite child. Do you?
I do too. I have a favorite child. I only have one. Yes, yeah, you have two, but yeah.
I used to say I was my dad's favorite, but I can't anymore. Oh, good.
Yeah, we are.
We exactly.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, that is actually.
That podcast is
Me, yeah.
That's when you threw me.
shit. Oh shit! Laugh so hard. I my mic. Oh, here we go. There we go.
Poor Frankie.
Awesome. Going through a rough time. But so guys, like, we could talk for hours,
Yeah.
hours about the show, and we will, but not on this podcast, because, you know, as much, even though we're not under any time constraints, this isn't TV. We don't have to worry about, oh my God, this isn't have a chat. 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. This isn't that. We can go on as long as we want, but we also got to keep the audience attention span somewhat
Engaged.
intact.
Yeah.
So I'll go through each of you. You know, if you have any final words that you'd like to say to the people listening who saw the show, what would you like to say to them? Sam, we'll start with you.
One thing I'd like to say is thank you to everybody, that was involved, the cast and the crew. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody for using your hard-earned money to come see something that we did. That's so nice. Like, I can't believe people bought tickets to come see us on stage. Like, that's just crazy. But I think this would be a good time to announce.
You know what? Screw it. Let's do it. Let's just do it.
You do feel a little confused. The encore.
Oh.
I wasn't sure what you were going to announce. That you were
I'm pregnant. Cat's out of the bag, guys. We're doing an encore. We were teasing it. I'm like, do I say it on here? And then I was like, fuck it. Let's do it. We're doing it again, guys. More details coming soon about that. But yeah, we might as well just say we are going to do it again. So yes, thank you, Sam. Thank you so much for those. Rachel, how about you? Any final words you'd like to say to the audience?
Well, listen, I'm just appreciative that we've done this once. Even before we were on stage for the first performance, I was hoping that we could do this again, because when you put your heart and soul in something, you want to be able to show it to as many people as you can. And with the reason behind it being for mental health was like a big bonus. We raised so much money. Again, like Sam says, thank you so much for doing this and believing in us. Thank you to Veronique for, just thinking of, gathering all of us and doing this. But to the audience, if you hear us saying that we're going to do it again and you haven't seen it, just come and see it, because even if we tell you about it, you're not, it's an experience. So I really highly suggest that you come in and see the play, not because we're awesome or anything like that. It's the stories are so good, and we're awesome.
And we are too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that. We will not deny that. Judy, how about you? Well, I had a great time doing the show. I just want to say thank you so much. Okay, great. Thanks, Judy. Cara, how about you? Yeah, fuck off, Frankie. Okay. All right. Vero, how about you?
Listen, what else can I say? They've said it all. Just thank you to the 300 people that came. I never imagined I wanted it to be so, but I never imagined, and thank you to Townhill Jewelers for Townhill Jewelry for selling our tickets, but also for donating a gift certificate. We had 2 from them, which was great. Branded on the Boulevard and Creative Grounds all sold our tickets and promoted us, and that was wonderful. And thank you to Miramichi Addictions and Mental Health and Suicide Prevention Committee for volunteering that night. It was really special. We were able to raise $5,500 for such an incredible group of dedicated volunteers that do so much in the community around mental health awareness and things like that. So, just a huge thank you to them. But you know, to you, Frankie, for for doing this with us, and
We're paying for his
to
counseling.
Rachel. Well, true enough. You're right. I had to take that out of the profits, but
Yeah.
I'm on antidepressants right now.
as you should be. So, but a huge thank you to Rachel and to Sam and to Cara and to Judy for taking the time and indulging my ridiculous ideas. They do it day after day after day, and I can't imagine my life without these people in it. And I think, it's funny, we often hear from people, can I come hang out with you guys? You look like you're having such fun.
No, you can't.
And no, it's not possible. But I think, for us, it truly is about seeing each other win in life, and I get such joy from the good things that happen in their lives and from seeing them happy and supported, and so for me to get to be on stage and to see them, and it sounds so cheesy and I keep saying it because I truly feel it, but to be there on stage with them and to see them get the applause that they did and to see people happy and excited to see all of this come together was such a thrill for me. And one of those memories that I will never, ever get tired of thinking about. But just to get to experience it and for a great cause, that was a bonus for me. But to get to do this with them was everything. And I loved it.
Do you remember being backstage just before we went on? We all looked at each other and said, like, is there such a thing as four? I'm saying four friends because Judy is part of the group, but the four friends have been traveling together and doing things. And Cara with Sam and you and me. But we all looked at each other and said, like, how many people can say they go on stage with their best friends? Like it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's definitely, it brings you closer. It's a different experience. You can't even explain it.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
We feel different now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You are on top of the world, on top of the province. Like really, this is the talk of the town. People are all talking about you guys. No.
And it's a good thing for one.
It's a good thing, exactly. It's a good thing.
Right?
No, I think it'd be great. A Golden Girls reboot with you guys.
You're right. Absolutely.
Let's do a Golden Girls reboot.
Sure.
Gray up the hair and everything. Like, let's,
Well, I don't have to do
not
that.
hard.
Yeah,
that's not hard. But Sam teased it. So we will say this. So funny enough, we did get a lot of questions about, you should have done it more than one night. You should do it again. We only did it the one night because I knew how tough our schedules were going to be in May. It was such a full month, but we did commit to each other after. And it's been kind of reinforced ever since because we've heard some great feedback. But we will be doing the production again, either in late November, beginning December, before it gets too hectic around the holidays. But we'll do it as another fundraiser. We'll announce that fundraiser soon. But so we're gonna do it again. We've roped Frankie into it again, and stay tuned. And then I came up with some other ideas for what next year during Mental Health Awareness Month is going to look like for us, but I'll let y'all know soon.
Oh, she's telling us this on a podcast.
Yeah, literally.
No turning back, I guess.
So don't worry, I can still cut this out, guys. Don't worry, it's okay. It's not radio where it's live,
My cat. I think my cat is going to be sick on that day.
My plan.
Yeah.
My pet rock is gonna die, and I gotta be there.
Frankie, last words are yours.
Yes.
Last words. Really, just anything. Like I can't really put into words just how much it meant to get to work with you guys. I mean, as I said before, it was crazy that when this was first brought to me back in September, it was never going to get here. And then now that it's done for now, I was actually bummed on closing night. And I was like, shit, it's already done. Shit. But now, thankfully, we're going to do it again, which I was like back, on Saturday, I was like, I don't know if we can announce this yet, but here we are now. But really just, I can't put into words how fun this experience was, how amazing it was, the feedback that we got, and just doing what I love, especially with some incredibly talented people. And one of the best theaters in Miramichi, the James M. Hill Theater, is absolutely beautiful. And to get to say that I finally did a show there is amazing. I'm slowly working my way up around each theater in the province.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, really, I can't really say anything now that I haven't said before, which is just thank you guys so much for this experience. And this isn't the last time we're going to work together. I mean, unless this was such a terrible experience for you guys, you're like, I'm never doing this again.
No. I think you know better.
You're
No,
stuck.
don't worry.
You're stuck now.
If Vero says you're doing it, you're doing it. So that's you guys know you guys know how it works with her. So yeah, guys, I mean that's all I got. And my next thing is keep listening to the podcast, please. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I just want to make sure I touch on everything. I think that's everything.
Did.
I'll probably think of it later.
Did.
Thank you guys so much. You're the best.
Thank you.
So guys, thank you so much for listening to this special edition of the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I want to thank my guests, Samantha Murphy, Rachel Bernard, and Veronique Arsenault. And big shout out again to Cara, Scott, and Judy Losier, who were unable to be here today. Guys, yes, so that will do it for the show today. Stay tuned for, of course, our Concert Time Collective collaboration, Chatham Public Library, May 18th, actually, when this comes. Oh, no, never mind. This coming tomorrow. Okay, this Saturday, 2 p.m. at the Chatham Library. Next Saturday at 2 p.m., May 25th. And then the big finale of our music storytelling series on June 1st at 2 p.m. So, guys, definitely be sure, spread the word. Let's fill the library up with people. Anyways, guys, that's it for my plugs. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time. Until then, this is Frankie signing off. And also Rachel, Sam, and Veronique. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.